420 MSP. We are back. It's been too long. We're back with Scott Ekberg. Scott, I want to be you. I want your life.
You don't know me too well.
Okay, you live in a Colorado ski resort. Sounding pretty good to me. And there's truth to humor. Seriously, in Steamboat Springs, before we get going, but great piece in the New York Times about a week ago about Zoom towns. These Colorado ski resorts are experiencing up in people moving in and values. Are you seeing that in Steamboat Springs?
Yeah, it's off the hook. We looked at buying some properties we live right downtown, and some of these old town homes, and I thought, well, let's just wait. We got a presidential election coming up, and the stock market's really hot right now, and let's just sit on the sidelines, and everything's going to correct because it's gone up 100% in 5 years. And then when COVID hit, it just, I think the whole world took a pause. But then coming into the first part of the summer, the place just blew up.
Yeah.
I'm connected to a group down in Aspen as well, and talking to some, that's a different world there, but they're just coming there left and right too, out of big cities. People that can afford to do it are, yeah. And even with education, with kids that are all online, they said, we usually have summer, winter, and mud are our 3 seasons here, and our mud season now, where the restaurants, struggle, and we just try to keep people busy. Everything's on fire because every rental property's been taken, people working remotely, their kids are maybe in the Denver school system virtual, and they're saying, hey, screw it, let's get up to the mountains. So it's definitely the town's on fire.
Appreciate the perspective. And as you know, while 420 MSP targets the Cannatech vertical, I always enjoy a larger conversation just to get everybody thinking, strategically. So the reason we're really here is to reintroduce you to the audience and double click down into what makes the insurance business maybe a little bit more unique in the cannabis vertical. So let me give you the talking stick. Sir, what is your line of work?
I am a cannabis-specific insurance agency that has taken one rung up the ladder. So I'm also what they call a wholesaler, and people also use the term managing general agent, MGA. So I have direct contracts with the carriers that are writing cannabis in the United States.
Yep. And I know you've had a career in traditional commercial insurance, and then you relocated to Steamboat Springs. Mm-hmm. Any one or two things that make the cannabis vertical unique? Because, I know on the accounting side, there are some very unique things in accounting.
Oh, yeah. So in the insurance space, the typical admitted carriers, the State Farms of the world, Nationwide, Liberty Mutuals, of course, are staying away from it because of the federal legalization. So what it's done is it's created a marketplace for non-admitted carriers, very legitimate carriers like Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's is not specifically in the cannabis space, but certainly an A+ rated, great carrier. They're in the CBD space, but some of these offshore carriers that have fit that the void that was created because of the federal legalization or lack thereof. And so the companies that are doing it, they're not on a non-admitted basis. They're typically sold through retail agents. Your street agent is going through a wholesale broker to get access to the cannabis companies. And I just tried to eliminate that wholesale broker and have the direct contracts. And what that does is it cuts out a layer of fees and I call them BS, broker fees and things like that. But you're just adding another company in the middle there to feed. So we've had some success of just even taking over existing accounts that people, are maybe with the right company and have the right coverage. They're just, going through a couple layers of extra cost to get to that end company. And we have those relationships. So we really work directly with the customer. We're a direct to consumer wholesaler, essentially.
Yeah. What I found in going around the horn with our analysts, that essentially a cannabis entity is an SMB, and it's really not that much different than any other SMB, subject to maybe 3 or 4 things, compliance and some unique attributes. But at the end of the day, you've been in the insurance game a long time. Is it just a business that you're talking to?
It pretty much is. You know, there's some, being at this since, I was 21, which puts me at almost, 30 years of doing this. Um, I've seen it in just the last few years really transition from, people think of cannabis, they think of Spicoli and, and as much as it really isn't that as far as an industry. And especially now there's bigger money jumping into it,
Oh yeah.
institutional money, investors. So the kind of image of the Spicoli really isn't there. I mean, you're dealing with very sharp people that, know what they're up to. That being said, because by definition, some of these folks that are really good at growing and really know the industry were operating in the legal space for several years, for the most part. The big money and the well-established individuals in that have partners that are still in that world, and so it does create a little bit of a dynamic of how a company should be run. So I definitely see some dynamics. There's the money folks that have done well in life, do it the right way, and then there's folks that came out of that illegal world into the legal world, and so the cross section of those two personalities I find a little fascinating.
Yeah. Final question, and this is a general question, but in your role as an agent, you have to be licensed, you have to have a background check, that kind of, what is your life like? You can't just put a sign out on Main Street and be an insurance agent, right?
Yeah, the company that I'm associated with is a bank software compliance company, and what they're doing is they're onboarding well-run cannabis businesses into traditional FDIC insured banks.
Okay.
And that segment's really growing. With that comes the payments of what people are buying and selling, matching those up so that there's accountability. You're with a CPA typically, and then you're with a cannabis friendly, legitimate payroll provider. And I'm really a spoke of that. So I feel that we've built the best synergistic model of those, the payroll side of things, the banking side of things, the insurance side of things. These guys that I'm with are really sharp guys and gals. And then we're looking now to kind of add an equipment leasing arm to that network. And some other, couple other little areas. One is factoring of invoices and things like that for some that have cash flow issues. So our network's really trying to grow, but we're in a way, I don't have any financial interest in a payroll company or what bank someone's banking with, but we just really built a nice trusting network. So that's how deals are coming to me. But then ones that I get, I'm bringing in the payroll company or, what do you mean you hate your banking relationship? There's a lot more choices out there. Let me hook you up with, this individual or this individual.
Yeah.
So that's really what's driving business for me and my company.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you what, enjoy the early ski season, and we're going to talk to you next quarter and see how the powder's doing.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Well,
right.
Thanks so much, Harry. Nice to see you again.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. See ya.